was Mad Hatters going up against the Clamor. Mad Hatters versus Clamor. Mad Hatters' first game was very, very close, but the Mad Hatters won it with seconds to not in time, but just it was a second difference between victory for either side, and ended up being 5-4. Then the second game, the Mad Hatters managed to, in Northern Fjords, they managed to meet Grinds, the Clamor, and won 5-0 or 5-1. So it was a very convincing second game. Either way, though, we are getting into a game of our own. Why don't you go ahead and take us through the Glowwater Thrall ships?
I think I can do that. Once I load in. On guns. Alright, how about you do the red team? I'm taking
Sure, why not? Aboard the Glowwater Thralls ships, we have the Thank You Caroline, a Pyramidian, being piloted by Fiasco Total. On the front is a Gap Mortar Metamidian setup, with a port side consisting of a carronade and a flare. And aboard the Apraxia Lyri, already taking fire, we have a Goldfish being piloted by Nid. It is a Watchafish with a Banshee on the port and a carronade on the starboard.
Okay, and on the Dancing Feather, captained by Frogger, we have a front Artemis. We have a left side Hades Artemis, right side Gap Mortar. And on the Admiral Quackbar, captained of course by Sammy BT, we have a left side Hades Art and a front Artemis and a right side Gap Mortar. And talking of Gap Mortar is already going down from the Thank You Caroline on the Admiral Quackbar, but the Admiral Quackbar trying to get around this clock tower. Praxia Lyri firing a few glancing shots at the Dancing Feather, but most of it did not hit its mark.
Yeah, I think that the Watchafish is just inherently going to have trouble with the double junker armor going down on the Apraxia Lyri. Artemis raining down on it. They need to get that armor up. There it is. And the Thank You Caroline has moved in for defense, focusing down the Dancing Feather, but it's leaving itself entirely open to the Admiral Quackbar.
That is true. Now, Admiral Quackbar and Dancing Feather, just perfect focus fire on the Thank You Caroline. Just seamless focus fire takes down the Thank You Caroline.
That was brutal. Nowhere to run. They had a building right underneath them, and now the Apraxia Lyri stuck in some tar. Did they place it down themselves? No. That was just some really, really nice placement. Bounced against a building.
Yeah. Oh, that's rough. That is rough. Apraxia Lyri was not able to retreat. He bounced up against the terrain. That is a quick 2-0 lead for Mandarins.
Yeah, I feel like the Mandarins, not only are they playing really well, like I think that engagement was played very, very nicely by the Mandarins, but I feel like their ship loadouts specifically counter the Glowwater Thralls, specifically because you have the Watchafish, but a lot of that is going to sail above and below the hull, just because it's such a thin profile. It's hard to land that unless you have heavy clip, and even then it's a difficult proposition.
Yeah, and plus those junkers are going to be easily able to kind of weave in between all these buildings here. The Goldfish though is going to have a bit of a tougher time negotiating it while keeping its gun arcs on. Same for the Pyramidian.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Part of the problem is that it's such a long ship. Its main engine is so far behind it that it can turn and end up hitting a building. But you're absolutely right in that the junkers are really good in Peryton Rumble.
And you see both the Mandarins junkers. All those engines are glowing gold right now. They are buffed. They have just incredible maneuverability advantage.
Yeah, they were using it to their advantage in the last engagement. Now, it's not as large of a deal, but they absolutely can retreat if they need to. I like this formation they have. They're a little bit separate. It not only does it give them multiple angles, but it also makes it easier to realize when one ship is being focused over the other. So it's just communication-wise a lot easier.
Apraxia Lyri, Thank You Caroline getting pinned down here. The Quackbar and the Feather, they can arc those Artemis and Hades down. The Apraxia Lyri and the Thank You Caroline, they do not have that luxury. They cannot afford to be pinned down here.
Yeah, they're not only are they pinned down, but they're below the Dancing Feather and Admiral Quackbar. Now, when enemy ships are below these junkers with Artemis and Hades, it's so easy to land these shots. The Artemis has a really nice lower angle arc, And then you have the Hades, which is a mortar, so it's much easier to land on a target that's beneath
Oh,
them.
Apraxia Lyri's armor
the
going
Apraxia
down.
Lyri.
Ducks
Loon
under.
ended up eating a lot of that fire.
I mean, the Glowwater Thralls have got to get out of the situation they're in, but I mean, it's going to be difficult for them to do that without the Mandarins just seeing what they're doing.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the one thing that the Glowwater Thralls have going for them right now is that there are no flares. They can use these clouds as they roll in. That's what the Apraxia Lyri is trying to do.
Glowwater Thralls perhaps going for one of their famous flanking maneuvers. Oh, but the Dancing Feather has spotted the Apraxia Lyri, firing those Hades and Arts, and Apraxia Lyri has to reconsider. However, the Glowwaters are closer to being able to flank the Mandarins, but when you flank, of course, you also risk one ship getting isolated and focus fired. Definitely rolling the dice when you decide to flank.
Yeah, definitely. I think that the Apraxia Lyri wasn't quite flying low enough to make use of that cloud cover very well at all. Right now, the Mandarins are near the center of the map. They're not at the edge, so a slightly different angle is definitely possible, and they have the buildings lined up to do it. But I feel like the Glowwater Thralls are just trying to press this a little too hard. Armor's down on the Apraxia.
Yep. Took a sliver of permahull there. Oh, and now Thank You Caroline's going all in. This could be a mistake. The Dancing Feather and the Admiral Quackbar are able to focus fire on the Thank You Carolines. The Thank You Caroline comes in. Thank You Caroline's armor's down. Boom, 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 and it's down. Oh, Apraxia Lyri coming in, but just too late. Apraxia Lyri's just got to get out of here.
It's burning moonshine, but right now it's got a moonshine backwards, if anything. But it has a building behind it. It's almost certainly going to ram into it unless they get it perfect. Armor's down.
He's trying to turn. He's trying to turn. Oh, he's trying to drift around the corner, but it took a big bounce.
And it's looking to bounce again. No, it's able to rise up, and now it's got to drop. It has no momentum going down to get behind that cover, and it is still open to fire.
Apraxia Lyri just popping that moonshine. I think he should be using that Phoenix Claw a bit more. He seems to be finding it awkward to turn. Oh, there we go. Managing to moonshine behind this building, but that was a near thing. Again, just the Glowwaters are really on the back foot in this match, but the Thank You Caroline just sneaking down low through the mist. Apraxia Lyri taking big damage though, as it's trying to go from cover. Oh no, it takes a bounce. It's not able to get around to the cover. Apraxia Lyri's taking heavy. Oh, just perfectly aimed. Hades and Artemis, and it goes down.
The Mandarin, not only are the Mandarin excellent shots, but they are also excellent at positioning. They like this center area. We've seen other Ducks teams take advantage of this center area before. Used to be the globe here, but now it's much, much more open with fewer buildings around it. And as soon as the Duck team saw that, they're like, hey, you know what? We should abuse this. And so they did.
Thank You Caroline is only alive by the grace of God, and the Mandarin's not looking down here. And now the Apraxia Lyri taking it. Oh, just taking it full on. Apraxia Lyri's got to get out of here, though. Getting focus fire, but the Thank You Caroline. Aha, it's coming up. It's hydering up. Now the Thank You Caroline surprise attacking the Dancing Feather. But the Admiral Quackbar is going to be turning to focus fire on the Thank You Caroline. I don't know if the Thank You Caroline can get the damage it needs to take out one of these ships before it gets focus fired down. Now the Dancing Feather gliding underneath the Thank You Caroline as the Admiral Quackbar continuing to fire the Gap Mortar on it. The Apraxia Lyri has the opportunity to come in now.
Is it going to take it? It's being a little bit slow on the uptake. There we go. Hwacha going out onto the Quackbar. There's the Hwacha that we were needing to see. Going to get a bump with the balloon.
And a ram! A ram on the Admiral Quackbar.
Gonna throw him off just a little bit. Not too bad, though. Dancing Feather right now has the better of the Thank You Caroline. The Apraxia Lyri's got to make something happen, but...
Thank You Caroline goes down.
Too fast. The Thank You Caroline, I think its biggest mistake there was trying to rise up to the exact same level as one of the Junkers, because when you're at that level, a lot of those Gat shots can miss. They can go above and below the hull, but if he was a little bit lower, he would have had a bigger target, and he would have been able to land more of those gat shots, but he wasn't able to actually bring the armor down in a single clip. And I think that was what clinched
away here. Battle on the dunes.
Yes, indeed, sir. Very wide open. Only a couple pieces of cover. They're kind of strewn about the map. You got 4 basic ones, though. You have the battleship in the north. You have the ribs to the east. You have the wreck to the west. And then you have a little engine that gets a fair amount of usage in the south.
But before any of that, we have the loadouts.
Yes, indeed.
And first up on the Thank You Caroline, we have a Gat carronade front and a flare mortar side. On the Apraxia Lyri, captained by Nid, we have a blenderfish with a heavy carronade front, a left side carousel, and a right side Artemis.
And aboard the Dancing Feather at Junker being piloted by Frogger, we have an Artemis and Hades on the port side with an Artemis on the front for a trifecta, and a Gat Mortar on the starboard side. And aboard the Admiral Quackbar at Junker being piloted by who else but Sammy. We have an Artemis and a Hades on the port side, Artemis on the front, another trifecta, and instead of a Gat Mortar on the starboard, we have a Banshee and Carronade.
Yes, indeedy. And now the Mandarins look to be kind of hovering, kind of a wide open area here. They've already spotted the Apraxia Lyri. The jig is up for the Thralls. They're going to find it very difficult to close distance from this position without getting fired down upon by those Artemis and Hades.
The Mandarins right now, like I was saying, they're moving out to more open area. They're not even trying to take cover behind any specific piece. They're just going out into the center. They're taking the center of the map. They want to be able to keep an eye on the Thralls no matter what direction they come from.
They don't need cover. The Thralls don't have any sniping weapons.
Yeah, they're relying on their sniping ability. Or I should say the Ducks are relying on their sniping ability to bring down the Thralls before they get too close. Well. The Apraxia Lyri coming in from on low.
Yeah, Apraxia Lyri has been spotted. The Thank You Caroline has not. The Apraxia Lyri managing to glide past some of those Hades shots, coming in just full head of steam here. The Apraxia Lyri just going for it. Thank You Caroline following close behind. Oh, Apraxia Lyri taking some Gat Mortar fire, but hydering up, managing to zone a lot of it out. And now the Thralls have successfully closed the distance with both ships. Oh, however, the Dancing Feather firing down with the Gat Mortar on the Thank You Caroline. The Thank You Caroline going in with the Carronade Gatling on the Admiral Quackbar. The Admiral Quackbar's about to get Goomba stomped here. Oh,
oof, Balloon is down again.
Trying to go forward with the kerosene. Oh, that was a near thing for the Admiral Quackbar. Just Sammy desperately popping tar, desperately just trying to glide down this sand dune here. The Thank You Caroline wants to Goomba stomp him desperately. But he's going to have to go through tar to do it.
Balloon's down again. I'm not certain what happened to the Admiral Quack. Oh, that's right. They have the carronade on the Thank You Caroline. That's right. Yep. And here comes the Goomba stomp.
Boom! Thank You Caroline.
With the nose cone, no less. That was beautiful. And now the Apraxia Lyri, it's stuck in a little bit of tar, and the Dancing Feather is moving in on the Thank You Caroline. The Apraxia has got to move in quickly to help its ally.
Yes, indeed. Now the Thank You Caroline he's saying he doesn't care about that Gat Mortar. He's just going right in on it, but his armor is down. However, there is no mortar to follow it up.
Oof.
Or at least there was, but it was too late. Yeah.
Just a little bit too late. Armor's down again, though, and I doubt they'll waste the opportunity this time.
Oh, Apraxia Lyri
wide.
Yeah, but the Dancing Feather, it turned just as it was about to get the mortar shots. And now it's switching to Hades. Oh, I can't agree with this. Dancing Feather just needs to pick a target and kill it in a 2-on-1 situation. Otherwise, yeah, it's just going to get 2-on-1 like this.
Yep. So, I'd like to point something out. I saw what the Glowwater Thralls did early, and I love it. What they did was they had the Apraxia Lyri come in from lower. They had the Thank You Caroline come in from the clouds a little bit on the side. The Apraxia Lyri came in low, made itself an easy target, but a lot of that fire went into the balloon. Now, what it did was as soon as it closed distance, it had already taken a fair bit of damage, so for safety, it just came up and then burned hydrogen to get above their arcs, and then the Thank You Caroline came in for some serious fire. And they were able to turn on to the Thank You Caroline, but by that point, the blender fish was already right in the faces of the Junkers, taking out their balloons. And if a Junker's balloon goes out, it is in so much trouble, especially with the Hades and Artemis that need to be above their targets.
Yeah, definitely.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was
Like,
very well done.
The only team I could think of that could pull that off is the Glowwater Thralls.
Well, yeah, the Apraxia Lyri. We actually saw something similar with Overwatch. They used a Watcher fish against the Gents earlier. Yeah, that just the goldfish. I mean, again, it's only got that one big front-facing weapon that could be easily taken out. However, just it has that superior vertical movement, which you can just go in and out of engagements, at its will, and that's the strength of the goldfish that pilots are starting to rediscover here.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. It's an interesting alternative to the Pyramidion in a similar way that you can sort of control the distance between yourself and your target with the goldfish a little bit more. Thank you, Caroline. And Apraxia Lyri sort of hiding behind cover. Apraxia is taking a fair bit of fire here. The balloon is eating most of it, so they're doing okay, but this is really dangerous to just be taking fire like this.
It is, but I think Apraxia will be able to get back into cover before too much damage is taken, I'm assuming. I think it's just trying to maybe take the attention off Thank You Caroline, which is sort of sneaking around or bouncing off the Leviathan, or I don't know. I'm not sure what Thank You Caroline's doing here.
It's coming around. Which side do they want to do it from, though? Are they going to try to do a flank from either side of the Leviathan? Because they do that sometimes, but no, not this time. I think they're confident.
It would certainly be very Thralls-esque if they decided to go from both sides.
Yeah, that's something that they're very willing to do. Now they're just going to go low. They're going to try to use some of this junk from the Leviathan as cover.
Oh, hello. Thank You, Caroline, heading towards the ribs. He's just gunning it to the ribs. Full kerosene. Apraxia Lyri, though, not following that closely behind.
Now he is. He has his engines buffed. He's burning kerosene. He should be able to get there without incident. I mean, with the Artemis nerf a little while ago and the slow travel time of the Hades, no, they can't get him. Yeah, I think the Ducks, the Mandarins feel their mortality a little bit more now, and they're hiding behind cover, but this is kind of what Glowwater Thralls want. They want to be able to close distance onto the other side of the cover, and then get a quick brawl going. I think... Actually, you know what? This is looking like the old patterns that we used to see on the dunes a lot. You have one team go around the Leviathan.
Now, this is a very risky maneuver here. Thank You, Caroline, going low into that cloud as the Apraxia Lyri hangs out by the ribs, perhaps trying to trick the Mandarins into thinking that the Pyrrha is hiding with it. Apraxia Lyri's in a dangerous situation here. Apraxia Lyri will take a little bit of time to get back into the ribs. Oh, but the Thank You Caroline has been spotted. Oh dear, the Thank You Caroline's ploy, if it was intending to trick the Mandarins, did not work. And now Thank You Caroline is just hiding behind a tiny sliver of cover. The Apraxia Lyri coming in now. The Thank You Caroline taking a bounce. Oh no! Now the Apraxia Lyri coming in.
They get the whack. They get the whack on the armor. Apraxia Lyri coming in hard. They get the whack on their armor. But now they are in a very bad position against the Dancing Feather and the Admiral
Apraxia Lyri's armor's down. He's hiding up. He's hiding up.
Some nice prediction from the Dancing Feathers mortar gunner. Who is that? That's Gorath. Gorath doing a nice job with those mortars. Apraxia Lyri being forced to back off.
Caroline just skirted underneath the Dancing Feather. The Dancing Feather able to glide over the Caroline and continue to fire down on the Apraxia Lyri. The Apraxia Lyri's armor is down. And he's taking Hades as well. Oh, this could be the end for the Apraxia Lyri. And the Apraxia Lyri...
The balloon ate the mortar. Balloon ate a lot of that mortar. And now the Apraxia Lyri, it's dropping down. It's got to get... It's trying to use this balloon as cover. but it's not going to be able to pop the balloon of the Dancing Feather and get in an advantageous position if they keep up what they're doing right now.
Oh, look at that.
Caroline has
Admiral
got to finish off
Quackbar
the
just
Quackbar.
skirts around the Thank You Caroline. Just continuing to focus down on the Apraxia Lyri, and the Apraxia Lyri goes down. Thank You Caroline's just found it very difficult. These two Junkers are just dancing around it. Now we're in a 2-on-1 situation.
That was some really nice piloting and some good damage control from Sammy BT, realizing that, hey, wait a minute, our allies in a fair bit of trouble. Let's just focus fire this one ship and dance around the Thank You Caroline. That was some excellent piloting, and now the Thank You Caroline going to be the next one to fall.
Oh dear. The Apraxia Lyri has just respawned right into the Lion's Den. He's respawned into the range of those Artemis Hades. I mean, he's going to backpedal as fast as he can, but he doesn't have that many places to backpedal to. However, his ally should be respawning shortly. They are in red spawn right now.
The Apraxia Lyri, at least he's able to get out of a meat grind. The ribs are readily available. He's going to back up to those. Thank you, Caroline. Spawns in just behind the Dancing Feather. That's what they were waiting for. But this may be a bit too aggressive. The Apraxia Lyri turning in. They want to use these clouds, but they're passing by quickly.
This is a very, very risky play by the Glowwater Thralls. And now the Thank You Caroline getting focus fired. The Gatling going down. But of course he doesn't have the mortar. So, I mean, he doesn't have the quick kill power. And now the Thank You Caroline's armor's taken down. He's just taking permahull now, and now his balloon's down. The Apraxia Lyri is coming in, but I gotta feel like it's too late. The Thank You Caroline about to go down here. Apraxia Lyri ramming the Dancing Feather, but it's not gonna... Thank You Caroline stays up. The Thank You Caroline does not go down. It is staying barely alive. The Apraxia Lyri doing everything it can to just block the Thank You Caroline, to ram the Dancing Feather off it.
Problem is, now that the balloon was down on the Dancing Feather, it's able to drop down and get its guns into arc on the Thank You Caroline, but no, it stays on the Apraxia Lyri. This may be a mistake. The Thank You Caroline now has an easy arc for its Carronade and its Gatling, and the Dancing Feather is going to keep dropping down to the floor of the desert. The Apraxia Lyri not having too much of a problem anymore against the Quackbar now that it has its balloon in check.
You don't want to do split engagements against Carronade ships, because the Carronade ship will slowly get the advantage. It will blend you down, and that's what's happening to the Dancing Feather. And now the Admiral Quackbar as well. They're both getting blended down here. They shouldn't have split the focus.
Armor down on both Junkers as they begin bouncing along the floor of the dunes. Thank you, Caroline, staying behind the Dancing Feather. It's trying to turn its guns into arc, but I'm not sure they're going to let it happen. Huge ram! Going to finish
now the
him
Admiral
off quick.
Quackbar about to go the same way. Oh. Wow. That amazing.
Was gorgeous.
Yeah. Stunning.
That was absolutely gorgeous piloting from both teams. Like, anyone who's in a spring pilot, if you want to look at a replay, you want to figure out how to pilot well and pick up tricks, this will be a good game to go into the archives and look up.
Yes, indeed. Yes, God, I haven't seen this a Carronade-focused team like this in, I don't know how long. Months and months and months.
It's a gorgeous counter.
Yeah.
It's a gorgeous counter to the Junker meta.
So long, I mean, the Carronade has just been ignored in favor of those arts, in favor of Hades and Mercs. But now, wow, just Carronades on dunes. Brilliant. I love it.
We're starting to see counter builds coming out more and more often on a lot of these ships. And a lot of these teams, they're saying, okay, we're on this map. We know that this team likes to run these ships. We need to pick something to counter it. And that's starting to happen now. I'm almost wondering if these tournaments are going to have to start using a pick order system. Like, okay, we pick this ship, then the other team says, okay, we'll pick this ship, and they'll pick different guns on it. Because it's getting to that point.
Back in the Sky tournament, which I won, by the way, there was a rule where a ship loadout was locked. If a team won, then it was locked on that loadout for the next match. I don't know if that's a way to do it.
It's gonna be a concern at the very least. Like the mechanics of it, it could go a lot of ways, but it has to like with the play we're seeing, like we're seeing the Carronades do so well. We have teams that can fly against the Mandarins. For a while, the Mandarins have had just the pilots have been at the top, and they still are very, very good. But we're starting to see other pilots playing against them so often that they're picking up on the tricks.
Yeah, the Guns of Icarus competitive scene is harder. It's tougher than it's ever been. I mean, just you've got your veteran pilots who've got so much experience, and I mean, and you've got new pilots who've just got so many old videos and just established meta to kind of pick up on. I mean, this is beyond the stage in Guns of Icarus where people are just feeling out the meta. There is a well-established meta now, and you can study it. You can learn from it.
Yeah, we're seeing it right now. Like we're seeing the meta being defined a little bit more here. Like this is actually more meta breaking than anything. But
I agree.
I think that we're starting to see the anti-junker meta come out.
This is Blenderfish. This is so old school. Rear Admiral Zill.
Yeah.
Rear Admiral Zill is just smiling right now from PAX East. And he's watching this on his mobile right now, I'm imagining. And now the Admiral Quackbar and the Dancing Feather are focusing down on the Apraxia. Oh, this was not the engage I feel that the Glowwaters wanted. The Mandarins have the high ground, but they're switching focus to the Thank You Caroline now. Interesting.
Apraxia burning away that balloon on the hydrogen. They're going to have to get it back up quick, but the momentum is going to carry them up a fair ways.
Oh, there's so much focus fire on the Caroline. And I'm getting a lag spike.
Yep, lag spike.
Oh, down it goes down. Now
I think that was more because the hull was so low. Still, the Dancing Feathers balloon goes down. The Apraxia, what is it going to do? Where is the Caroline going to spawn? This is very, very dangerous. Quackbar has a nice angle on the Apraxia. Armor goes down. Artemis is raining in. Is maybe
Apraxia needs to turn. It needs to moonshine. It needs to get behind some cover here. Engines and hull, engines and hull.
Apraxia burned that hydrogen too much, and now his balloon is stuck low, and it has no vertical movement. It has no vertical movement, and it is going to pay for it with its life. And the Thank You Caroline.
Oh, no!
We may see Meek grind.
No! Oh, catastrophic spawn for the Thank You Caroline. The Thank You Caroline has been spotted, and now the Admiral Quackbar and the Dancing Feather are going to have a lot of time to just wail on it, with no ally to assist.
Thank You Caroline out of desperation, dropping low, but it's just going to make the shots easier. Like, it needs to stay high. But no, it is going to go low and give the advantage to the Junkers. The Junkers are going to easily keep these angles. Armor goes down.
Hulls down. Oh.
And that's going to be that.
And there we have it.
That was some really solid play coming out from the Mandarins. They took advantage of the mistakes that the Glowwater Thralls made, especially that last one. That last one was the deal breaker, but that was a very, very close match.
In that final engage, what the Glowwater Thralls did, they realized, hey, Apraxia is just dodging and ducking and diving, so let's focus the Pyrrha. They took down the Thank You Caroline, and it was just 2-on-1 city.